On the fourth day, I left the hotel and continued the GR11 trail through the beautiful streets of the small town of Elizondo. Unlike the previous night, I slept well, ate well and rested well, so I was determined to continue. The planned hiking distance for the day was about 20 to 25 kilometers. I knew that I had to go at least to the Urquiaga camp, which was 19 kilometers away, and then see how much more I could go. The information board indicated that today's climb was more than 1,000 meters, and even though it was the end of September, the heat was still intense. So dragging a heavy bag up to the mountain was not one of the easiest tasks. The previous day I had gotten seriously lost twice. Although the trail has signs, they can be contradictory. When you reach a junction, the sign may point to a path that leads to the GR11 from a place that is actually behind you. As a result, yesterday I spent an hour climbing down the mountain, and then I spent all the energy I needed to climb back up to the mountain and continue the path. As if that weren't enough, in the afternoon I came out on a paved road, and according to the book, the road should have headed down, where the town of Elizondo should be. So I turned left and walked down the road. After about an hour, the road started going up again, and there was no Elizondo down there. I was completely lost. What's more, I realized that I had walked further than I would have if I had gone the right way. My phone didn't have an internet, and when I finally realized where I was, it was already too late. My phone was also out of battery, and even worse, my water had run out. I don't know how it would have ended if I hadn't met a Spanish girl named Sue, or Sue in English I think, at a small rest area who helped me get to Elizondo with her car. When I get to Elizondo, I hurried to the supermarket where I bought real strawberries. After such a hike, they tasted heavenly. Once again, I came across a road sign where I had to decide which way to go, because the sign is in the middle of the two roads, and it's not clear which way to go. While climbing up the mountain, to my great surprise, an elderly man ran past me. It soon became clear that there was no water at the first of the planned water points. The spring had dried up, and only a few drops were dripping from it. I began to regret that I had taken too little water to save the weight of my bag. Fortunately, I soon found a spring with a normal water flow. Although the water was cold and looked like it was coming out of the mountain, I decided not to risk it and use a water filter. When I came out of the forest, beautiful green hills became visible. After a while, I came to a small mountain hut, where I found and filled up with some water. I also met many playful lizards, some of which were not shy about running over me while I sat and drank water. They must have been used to people. At the hut I met a friendly group of cyclists from Pamplona. The trail continued through hills inhabited by herds. It seemed that I was the only one who had a hard time walking, because even the white dog that I noticed on the trail didn't seem to know about the steep mountains and was running up and down. Near Urquiaga, I realized that there was nothing to do, because there was no water or any other reason to stay there. I continued on, looking at some funny caves along the way. It was not clear what they were for. On crossing the next mountain pass, I met hikers from France who advised me to continue on since there was no water nearby. So I did. I used up all my energy reserves and came to a place that seemed acceptable for spending the night. However, after looking at the map, I decided to continue on my way to the place where there was a real camping site. Apparently people had spent the night in this place, and as it got dark, I had no other option but to spend the night in this place. The best thing was that there was a small river nearby from which I could get water and even wash myself. I made a delicious dinner of pork meat with mashed potatoes. It was obviously a mistake to do something like that in the thick of the forest. Because of the smell of the cooked meat, after about half an hour, a bear approached my campsite. He continued to stay behind the trees, 50 to 70 meters from me, growling intensely and sniffing the air. I spent my childhood next to a reserve for bears and other forest animals, so I could not mistake the bear for other forest animal in this area, despite the darkness. Although I admit that I was paralyzed with fear because it was the first time I met a bear in the open, I was comforted by the fact that I had previously read on the forums that there had been no attacks on people in recent years. In any case, I had one of my trekking poles ready at hand, ready to defend myself and not give up without a fight.